Are you looking for job opportunities in cybersecurity, or thinking about a career in it? Then, it's essential to get started with the basics of networking. Hello everyone! Welcome all my viewers to this video, where we'll break down networking concepts using Cisco Packet Tracer, showing you practical examples to make it easy to understand. Before we go through, let's first understand what exactly Cisco Packet Tracer is, and how it can benefit you. Well, it's a powerful tool designed for learning about networking. Whether you're a student, an instructor, or a professional, it provides a virtual environment to practice designing, configuring, and troubleshooting networks. Before we jump into the installation process, it's essential to have a grasp of networking concepts. If this piques your interest, head over to my blog for a detailed breakdown of all things about networking. After completing this unit, you'll gain the ability to understand the basic concepts of data communication and networking, identify the components of data communication, explain the fundamentals of networking models, categorize different types of networks, and understand the basic functions of networking devices. Now, let's dive into the process of downloading and installing the tool. Start by searching Cisco Packet Tracer on Google, and then visit the Cisco Networking Academy. Once there, click on View Courses and explore the Skills for All section. To access the content, sign in by clicking on the Sign In button on the Learning page. If you don't have an account, you'll need to create one. This is the section where you'll discover what makes this tool special. To get started, click on Download Cisco Packet Tracer. Choose the version that corresponds to your operating system. After the download is complete, find the installer file and run it to initiate the installation process. Follow the step-by-step instructions provided by the installation wizard. This usually includes accepting the license agreement, selecting the installation directory, and confirming the installation. Once the process is complete, a confirmation message will appear, indicating that the Cisco Packet Tracer has been successfully installed. Now, go ahead and launch the Cisco Packet Tracer. Depending on the situation, you might be asked to log in using your Cisco Networking Academy credentials. Simply follow the on-screen instructions to log in if necessary. In certain instances, you might encounter a prompt to log in using your Cisco Networking Academy credentials. Just follow the on-screen instructions to complete the login process if needed. Once all the setup is complete, you're good to go. As an example for our first project, let's grasp the Cisco Packet Tracer by designing a basic home network. Ready to get started? Initially, we'll create a direct connection between two PCs, exploring the dynamics of communication between them in the absence of a switch. To initiate this, navigate to the Devices tab situated on the lower sidebar. Execute a drag-and-drop action to bring two PCs onto the workspace. Witness the presence of both PCs coexisting within the workspace. For effective communication, we will have to employ a crossover cable to interconnect the PCs. Head to the Connections tab on the lower sidebar, opting for the copper crossover cable. Navigate to PC 0, select the Ethernet port, and interlink it with PC 1's Ethernet port. Notably, the origin port status indicator gleams green. However, it's imperative to acknowledge that the IP address remains unassigned. Next, we need to allocate an IP address to establish a functional connection. This step is essential for ensuring connectivity and operational functionality. Initially, select one of the PCs. Now, navigate to the Config tab and choose Interface. Proceed to assign distinctive IP addresses. Next, proceed to the second PC, and replicate the same configuration that we have applied to the first PC. To confirm connectivity, click on the chosen PC, access the Desktop tab, and open the command prompt. Now, initiate a ping to the IP address of the other PC to verify connectivity. What if we introduce more PCs? Connecting them individually becomes problematic. To address this, let's incorporate a switch. Simply drag and drop a Cisco 2960 switch onto the workspace for seamless integration. Now, establish connections between PCs and the switch using wires. To establish, utilize an additional set of copper straight-through cables to link the PCs to the available ports on the switch. To enhance clarity, I'll display the corresponding IP address. Now, I'll assign an IP address to the third PC, just as we did before. Everything is set. After making the connections, verify if the PCs are effectively interconnecting with each other. Let's confirm it by using the ping command. Now, it's time to introduce a router and configure it. Start by navigating to the Devices tab on the lower sidebar. Simply drag and drop the Cisco 2911 router onto the workspace. With the router seamlessly integrated, proceed to establish connections between devices using cables. Initially, establish a connection between the router and the switch by accessing the Connections tab on the lower sidebar. Opt for the copper straight-through cable. Now, we are going to utilize the Gigabit Ethernet port for this task. Finally, click on the switch to complete the connection. The indicator indicates a red sign, which means that the connection is an incomplete connection. In this case, proceed to configure router interfaces. Access the router settings by clicking on it, then go to the Config tab. Here, choose the interface and assign the IP address, which will automatically activate the router. Now, head to the CLI tab and execute the no shutdown command. Observe the indicator now reflecting a green status, confirming that the router is up and running. What if we want to access the network wirelessly? Then what do we have to do? To simulate a wireless network experience, simply drag and drop a wireless router onto the workspace. In this case, I'm using the Linksys WRT300N. Before we dive into the wireless connection for my laptop, let's ensure the wireless router is linked to the switch. Connect the wireless router and the switch using another copper straight-through cable, plugging it into an available port on the switch. To optimize the router's functionality, configure its IP address. Double-click on the wireless router, navigate to the Config tab. Now, click on the LAN interface and assign a valid IP address. Once the router is configured, proceed to set up the wireless interface. Enabling wireless capability allows seamless connection with my laptop. Now, let's add an extra layer of security by choosing WPA-PSK as our authentication method and setting up a password. You can also do this graphically by tapping into the GUI, navigating to the Wireless tab, and then configuring the settings there. Time to connect wirelessly. Double-click on the laptop, go to the Desktop tab, and click on PC Wireless. A prompt will appear, indicating the need to add an interface card to the laptop. To do this, go to the Physical tab, turn off the PC, remove the LAN port, and replace it with the wireless module. Now, power up the laptop. You'll notice the PC Wireless is active. To connect, tap on Connect, click on the wireless access point displayed on the screen, and once connected, you'll see a confirmation sign. Now, let's check the connectivity. Open the command prompt and execute ipconfig to confirm the assigned IP address. If the IP is valid, proceed to ping the IP address of the laptop, to ensure a successful connection. If everything goes smoothly, your laptop is now successfully connected to the network. If you want to connect a PC wirelessly, start by changing the physical interface and then follow the previous steps to establish the connection. This is the procedure for establishing a home network designed using Cisco Packet Tracer, marking the completion of our first project. Ensure to save this configuration for documentation purposes. To save your project, locate the File menu and select Save or Save as to specify a location and file name. This stored information will be valuable for future reference or modifications. If you have any doubts or queries related to this video, feel free to express them in the comments section. Your feedback and questions contribute to a collaborative learning environment.